know that I wouldn't necessarily speak
Because
like
I
that.
don't think you need me to tell you that you shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, you don't need to tell me when I'm in the wrong. Like I should just know.
I'm not, yeah, okay, but I'm just saying as a friend, like, I just feel like sometimes I would look out for you a bit more than you would for me.
Seriously, I personally am still confused about Casey. Why would he make such a big deal out of nothing? Okay, fine, it was disrespectful. I don't tolerate disrespect. I'm allergic to disrespect, but still the way he carried it on, and suddenly people like Sammy have a voice. They are able to speak up. And for Gabby to buy that beef and reignite it after it had been ironed out makes me believe that she really wanted, Ronnie and Harriet to go home. So she was hoping the backlash from the viewers watching them have a back and forth with Casey would get them sent home, because there's no other justification for why she would reignite that beef once it was ironed out. And Luca, these people, it makes me believe that people are now so competitive that they've lost their values and their morals as soon as they walk through the door. Because for Luca, if he and Harriet have been friends since childhood, if he knows Harriet, what she would say and what she would not say, and when she's being malicious and when she's not, why then would he stand there and help, pour fuel onto this fire? Make it make sense? I don't get it, because if he's friends with Harriet, why was he going back and forth and sort of encouraging this conversation to continue? When he had issues with Scott, no one saw him say anything. So the audacity to suddenly have a voice and speak up when people are saying negative things about his friends, I don't buy it, and I don't get it, and I don't like it, given the fact that Grace is also, Harriet's friend. It's very confusing. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars, Season 2, Episode 25. So after the game, everybody's in their feelings, because some people feel like they were targeted, whereas others feel like, they were just being honest. And so you have Curtis and Ekin-su sit down for a conversation, and, they're sort of feeling some type of way at the fact that they feel like they were targeted by everyone, and people were not being honest about their reviews or their opinions. Curtis is saying that if he lives with Ekin-su, then he's fine to live with Ekin-su. He's in a good space, and so he will happily walk out with her, because at the end of the day, he wanted to find his person, and he feels that he has. So the two of them are happy with things as they stand. You have Catherine and Omar come across like they've been rained on, and they are apologizing that we're sorry for some of the comments that we made, because we didn't realize that this would be the effect of our votes. It's more or less they have buyer's remorse, because Catherine has been friends with Ekin-su in the villa, so they feel responsible for, Ekin-su and Curtis being in the bottom two, so they're really sorry about that. And, well, what do you do? Because people didn't know why they were voting, so people were just voting and trying to get themselves out of trouble. You have Ronnie, Harriet, Grace, and Luca having a conversation amongst themselves about the game and where people stand. And Ronnie and Harriet are saying, we're good. We're good, we're okay. Obviously, there's the comment about the shut up that is circling the villa. You have, Casey on this tour whereby he's telling every single person. And I'm just side-eyeing him. I really am, because at the end of the day, Grace told Omar to shut up. Everybody pretended like nothing was said. And suddenly Harriet has said the same thing. And now Casey's offended and is carrying it on his head and is running around the villa for everybody to see what has been said about him. And it's like side-eye. Really side-eye. Catherine, I think, really felt bad, so she sat down for a conversation with Tina, and she was apologizing that I'm sorry that we picked the two of you. It's just that you're a new couple and we really don't know what's going on with you. So this is why we just picked you. It's nothing personal. It's not like we were targeting you or whatever. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that people were copping out, and they're just picking, Chugs and Tina for no apparent reason. You have Ronnie and Harriet sit by the fire pit. They are happy with where they are. They're happy with their journey of how they've changed this season as compared to their initial season. And Ronnie is saying, if we live together today, I'm good. Harriet is saying, if we live together, I'm good as well. But Ronnie is saying, I would have loved for us to stay till the end so that people can see our growth and our journey and how we've actually changed as people. And it's like, in my opinion, they don't need to convince anyone. They don't need to convince anyone. They just need to stay, the two of them, and be happy and be at peace, and that's all that matters. Everybody else's opinion, including the viewers, doesn't matter. Ronnie goes off. I don't know whether he was called for a confessional, but you have Casey come across to Harriet finally, and is offended at the fact that Harriet told him to shut up, but he's not offended at the comments that he made about Harriet's relationship. And it's like, seriously, you can only see what has happened to you. You can't see what has happened to anybody else. Everybody else doesn't matter. As long as Casey is happy, then everybody else should be happy. Make that make sense? I don't get it. And Harriet said, I'm sorry, but this is the way we talk. It seems they're friends. It seems they have a lot of banter, according to what Harriet was implying. But Casey was saying, no, you had a lot of malicious intent behind you. And it's like, Casey, shut up. I am even telling him to shut up because I think he's making a mountain out of a molehill. I agree with Harriet. If people were so offended by that word being used, they should have been offended when Grace said it. They shouldn't have waited until Harriet said it and then suddenly everybody's offended. You have everybody else by the day beds busy saying, oh, she's apologized. And it's like, seriously, Omar is sitting there. We haven't seen Grace apologize to him, and it was okay for people to watch him be told to shut up for no apparent reason, but suddenly everybody's up in arms in the villa because Harriet has said the same thing. So you then have Harriet is left on her own. She's just sat there. You have Casey sort of go across to everybody and said, oh, she just said she's sorry, but she doesn't mean it. And it's like, who are you to tell her what she means or what she doesn't? Are you in her head? Are you the one who knows every single thing that's going on in her mind to know whether she's genuine or she's not genuine? You have everybody say, people like Gabby, oh, she's not genuine. And it's like, what is your beef with Harriet? Tell us, because we as the class are sat up and we really want to know, because we don't get this is a whole big thing. Oh, I'm friends with Ronnie and I don't want to fall out with Ronnie. Ronnie was telling me to keep quiet because it looked strange for you, a man, to be arguing with a woman who you're not in a relationship with over something silly. As far as I'm concerned, it was a silly argument that didn't need to go as far as it went. It needed to stop. So you now have everybody by the day beds, including Sammy has finally found his voice to stick up for Casey, and yet he couldn't stick up for Omar. Make that make sense? You have Chugs have a conversation with Tina, and they're both feeling some type of way as well because they have been voted in the bottom three, but they can't understand the reason why they've been put in the bottom three, because at the end of the day, they are a new couple and nobody knows what's going on with them. So the audacity for people to just vote them in the bottom three doesn't make sense. And I understand where they're coming from. They seem to be in a better space. They seem to be more comfortable. Catherine was right when she was talking to Tina when she said, the problem with you and Chugs is we really don't know much about you apart from the fact that he tried to kiss you without even getting to know you. And it seemed more like he was doing it for the boys. And Tina said that's how she felt. And this is why she didn't kiss him, because at the end of the day, she wants a connection with someone. She doesn't want someone who's just doing it because his friends have told him that this is what you want to do, what you must do in order to be popular. And so I can't wait to see what happens, really. I can't wait because I personally really like them as a couple. And so I hope Chugs, I don't know whether Chugs is serious though. I don't know. They look cute as a couple aesthetically, but I don't know how far that can go. So you have Casey go again to Harriet and Ronnie because Harriet and Ronnie are sitting by the bin bags, and Harriet is just sort of in her feelings because everyone around the villa has isolated her and they've made her the pariah. So everybody's upset on Casey's behalf. And it's like, where was all this outrage and all this vim when Grace was saying the same to Omar? I will keep repeating that. And so you eventually have Ronnie calls Casey. Casey goes across. And Casey's busy telling everyone with ears to hear, well, I'm close friends with Ronnie. Otherwise, if not for Ronnie, things would go a different way. And it's like, seriously, a grown man like you wants to have a back and forth with Harriet. Make that make sense. Harriet, of all the people in the villa, why can't you go bar for bar with someone like Grace, who we know can tango with you? Why go after Harriet? Anyway, they have a conversation and they reach an understanding. Harriet apologizes again, and then suddenly, finally, this apology is genuine and Casey has decided to accept it. So he accepts it and he tells everyone it was a genuine apology and he's happy that, she's apologized, so they're moving on, which we all think, oh, that's the end of it. Amazing. For Gabby to suddenly come into the girls' changing room and have her opinion and express it to Harriet, I didn't like that. I don't know whether it's because Gabby was expecting Casey to continue on this outrage or whatever. I didn't like it. I felt it was really very and not needed. It wasn't needed, for lack of a better word. It wasn't needed for Gabby to be outraged about this. So she's outraged at the idea that somebody told her guy to keep his mouth closed. But she's not outraged at the fact that her guy had a strong opinion about somebody else's relationship. Because the reason why Harriet said that was because Casey had a very strong opinion about Harriet. And Harriet, in retaliation, made an inappropriate comment. So Gabby has completely forgotten about that. She's moving on to the next stage. So everybody gets ready for bed. And then you suddenly have Gabby telling, Casey in bed, oh, Harriet was busy saying she didn't say this, she didn't say. It doesn't matter the specifics of what was said. As long as someone apologizes. If he was still upset, he should have been upset. The audacity to wind him up in bed and get him outraged and get him angry didn't make sense to me. I didn't get it. And so for it to be talked about again in the morning, that didn't make sense. Oh, she's not taking responsibility. Are you taking responsibility for the comments that you made about her, accusing her of not being genuine in her connection? So we are supposed to believe that you, who has been on Love Island 3 times, back to back to back, if they had called you for Love Island games, you would have gone because that's who you are. So whoever your link is, they're only sort of valid in the UK. They still haven't penetrated the US. Otherwise, you'd have gone across to the US. So you are genuine in your connection with Gabby, but Harriet is playing games. She only came on the show for Ronnie. Make that make sense. I didn't get it, and I don't like it. And Casey, I've really gone off him. I was indifferent to him, but I've actually gone off him because the audacity to fight with a girl, for me, is the audacity to fight with Harriet. You have Ekin-su make breakfast for Curtis because it's his birthday, so she makes him a breakfast. She writes him a little note. She makes, I love you. Catherine was there helping. And Catherine has really been very useful in the villa to most of the people. She's been a very good friend to a lot of the girls, and I hope they appreciate her for that. You have Ekin-su call Curtis for his breakfast. He's very impressed. He's very happy. He gives her multiple kisses. And I was side-eyeing him because in the morning, in the bedroom, when everybody shouted happy birthday and Ekin-su said happy birthday and kissed him, he wiped his mouth after she kissed him. So suddenly, was it because he hadn't brushed his teeth or what? Make that make sense? Anyway, so you have Harriet sit down with Ronnie, and Harriet is in her feelings because apparently Harriet and Luca have known each other for a very long time. It seems apparently they've known each other since they were little kids. And so Harriet is feeling some type of way because she says when Luca was wrong, when the incident happened with Scott, she still stood up for Luca. She still kept her opinions about what was wrong in regards to what Luca had done, but just stood beside her friend. So the idea that Luca is sitting there while people are talking about her and is contributing his 2 pence into that conversation, Harriet didn't like that. And I agree with her. If someone is your friend, then ride for them. I'm not saying he should agree with what she said. He should have pulled her aside. I think you were wrong. I don't think he should have said that. Anyway, what I'll do is, if you want, I can come and play mediator. You and Casey can have a conversation and you can apologize because that came across wrong. That came across disrespectful. So Harriet is justified to be upset with Luca. She is justified. And the fact that she was crying broke my heart. It really broke my heart. So you now have, Harriet eventually sit down for a conversation with Grace. And she's saying to Grace, there are things that have been going on with me, but I don't want to talk to you even though you're my friend, because at the end of the day you are in a couple with one of the people that I'm having a problem with. And so she started crying again. She was very tearful, and then she revealed that Luca is my friend. I'm not saying he should defend me. All I'm saying is his opinion in this matter is not needed. He should just stay in the back and just keep quiet and just let it ride, and wherever it falls, it falls. I'm not saying he should defend me. I'm just saying, as my friend and as someone he loves, or if he loves me as a friend, then at least you should take a step back. You shouldn't be in the mix where people are talking badly about me. That I abide. That I agree with. This was one thing Josh was good at. Whatever issues he had with Mimi, he wouldn't say it in public. He would pull her aside. Mimi, this, that, and that. This is what Luca should have done as a friend. Ronnie then sat down with Luca and told Luca as well, Luca, Harriet is upset. The reason why she's upset is the fact that you and her are friends. You've been friends for a very long time. But she feels betrayed because you might have said some things that she heard that she didn't like. And so hopefully they have a conversation and they apologize. The islanders get ready for the night. Everyone is saying their goodbyes because they don't know who's going home, because it's the final week and they know that anyone stands a chance of going home. So you have the girls, saying their goodbyes. You have the guys saying their goodbyes, and it's like, okay, it's about to go down. So after the islanders get ready for the night, they pick up their drinks, and you have Harriet sit down for a conversation with Luca because Harriet is feeling some type of way. Apparently, she's known Luca since she was a child. It seems they've gone to the same schools or they've been around the same circle since they were children, and so Harriet feels betrayed by Luca, and I get where she's coming from. Harriet, when she spoke to Grace, she said, "I don't want Luca to fight my battle. But at the same time, I don't want him to be there while people are saying horrible things about me and sort of be egging it on. At least either say, no, that's not the Harriet that I know, or move away and just keep quiet and keep your opinion to yourself. You don't need to add fuel to the fire," which I agree with Harriet. So when they sat down with Luca, Luca was very patronizing, very defensive. And this is his problem. I think he lacks the emotional maturity that's needed in certain situations, because in this situation, all he needed to say was, okay, you know you were wrong, I understand, and maybe I, as your friend, should have played my part and not said anything when they were sort of talking about you. It's either I defend you or I just keep my opinions to myself. And that makes more sense, because Harriet was saying, you should have pulled me aside, which he should have, if he didn't agree with what she said. Instead of telling everybody and their mother around the villa, he should have pulled her aside for him to say, oh, we're family, we're trying to live in harmony. Yes, you're a family. Yes, you're trying to live in harmony. But at the same time, when you leave the villa, you're still going to see Harriet every other day. You might not see those people for forever, but you'll still get to see Harriet. How will you sort of deal with that? Oh, well, if it was in the real world, then I wouldn't let anyone speak to you like that. But now, because we're in the villa, we are a family. It doesn't matter. The same way you behave outside the villa is the same way you should behave in the villa. Be authentic. Don't try and sort of pander to people just because you're amongst people and you want their votes or you want them to like you. I agree with Harriet on this stance. Yes, I don't like the words she said, but she's not the first person to say anything wrong. We also, Grace, say whatever she said to Omar, and Luca didn't even voice anything. He just kept quiet and just let it wash. So the idea that he suddenly has an opinion because it's Harriet doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, you then have Luca go across because everybody was sitting, by the sun. It's not the sun deck. I don't know what they call it. And they were sort of watching it. And so when Luca and Harriet finished talking, Harriet just walked off. Luca walked off. And then you had Grace say, oh, they didn't hug. So that means Harriet is still upset. And it's like, why would she not be upset? Because he's not listening to hear, he's listening to respond. So why should she waste her time? Ronnie then went after Harriet because he wanted to check on her to make sure she was okay. Luca then went and reinforced what Harriet was just criticizing him about. And I don't know why Grace didn't pull him up, because Grace knows that's how Harriet feels. Harriet has already told her, I don't want him to defend me, but I don't want him to add fuel to the fire behind my back. And so for Grace to sit there and watch it, and for him to say that, and then have Grace chime in, they're not her friends. Ronnie's right, they're not her friends. So you had Ronnie go in and he tried to pacify her. Poor Harriet. It reminded me of on her season when she was blow drying her eyelashes and people were saying, what are you doing? And she's going, I'm trying to dry my eyelashes. This is the same thing. I know people say she can dish it, but she can't take it. Everybody in that villa can't take it. Everybody and their mother can't take it. We've seen how they respond in certain situations. So Harriet is not the only person. So Maya Jama comes into the villa and she sort of asks the islanders to gather around the fire pit, for which they did. And then she has a conversation with them about, the game and the fallout of the game and what people's opinions are. I love the fact that she mocked, Luca, that at least this time you stayed in the game until the game finished. You didn't just storm off like you did in Spin the Bottle. And you could tell he was embarrassed. Well, Maya then reveals that the three vulnerable couples need to stand at the front, for which they did, and everybody's just looking, they're nervous. And then it's revealed that Ronnie and Harriet are the ones that received the most votes. And you can see some people's faces drop, because I think they were hoping that Ronnie and Harriet would go home, because everybody wants that 25K for reasons best known to them. I don't think it's the 25K, I think it's the title that most people want. So Harriet is happy to be sitting down with Ronnie. She sort of cheers for the other two couples left. And you hear Ekin-su telling Curtis that, oh, it's going to be me, it's going to be us. But luckily, it's revealed that, luckily or unluckily, it's revealed that Tina and Chugs are going home. Am I surprised? No, they didn't have as big a fan base as the other couple, so they were going to go home. And when they sit down with Maya Jama, they actually revealed that had we not been sent home, it would have been devastating, because we, at the end of the day, have agreed to be friends. So it seemed like they were in a friendship couple. So they were never going to explore anything romantic, or they'd agreed that there was nothing romantic there. And it's like, well, this should have been said before then. Maybe it makes sense as to why everybody voted for them. You have Chags be asked about being pied by 2 girls, and he sort of jokes about it and just doesn't take it seriously. And it's like, it is what it is. I feel like they would have made a great couple. I think had Chags not explored anything with Danielle, or had he not been coupled up with Danielle, then maybe Tina would have been open to exploring a connection. For Tina to say she came in and she had an instant spark with, Scott, and this time there was nothing with Chags and she was hoping that it would build. It's like, seriously, this is the problem with most girls. We want something that's not good for us and we leave what's good for us. I think Chags is a better version of Casey, in my opinion. I don't know his dating history. Someone is going to shock me in the comments and say otherwise. But anyway, so Chags and Tina are the couple that have been dumped, so I can't wait to see what happens tonight, because there was a poll on their Instagram account for Love Island and hopefully people voted, and I can't wait to see what the results are. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 24. Bye guys!